What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus package update and daily news report for Monday, December 27th. We are almost to the end of 2021, and we have some updates that we need to get to. First, we're going to talk about the stimulus package. We're going to dive into issues regarding Social Security. We're going to talk about a potential way to cap inflation. We're going to address soft lockdowns and also the travel restrictions. So there's a lot of stuff we need to discuss today. Hopefully you guys had an incredible weekend, but let's get to the update for this morning. And if you enjoy these daily uploads, could you do me a favor? Go ahead and hit that like button. Now here's what we know. Let's get into the talks of the stimulus update. Here's what we're hearing. According to Progressive Chairwoman Pramila Jayapal, she is requesting that President Biden take executive action and provide the Build Back Better Act to the American people. She says, "It is extremely frustrating that President Biden promised to deliver, yet he has not yet done so." She also alluded to the fact that progressives are not going to be easily pushed around this time around because, she says, they fought for the social spending bill, and if it wasn't for President Biden stepping in at the last minute, it would have passed alongside the $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. I can tell you right now, it was a very likely scenario that the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, which was a bipartisan bill, and the $1.75 trillion social spending bill would have been passed together if President Biden wasn't pushed by moderates to get progressives on board. So, it is a little bit of progressives' fault, it's a little bit of moderates' fault, and it's a little bit of President Biden's fault. So right now, if anybody's to blame, it would be pretty much all Democrats. That's the reason why this $1.75 trillion bill has not passed yet. But as of right now, the negotiations are continuing on with the Build Back Better Act. Many Democrats have actually wondered if the bill not passing was a good thing. Now, while at home in their home districts, many Americans have actually expressed their concerns to their representatives and their senators about how inflation is hurting them. Now, this is exactly what Senator Joe Manchin said would happen, and some are arguing that Senator Joe Manchin's oppositions to this bill is actually what has actually saved them from themselves. So, we're going to see what happens, but what I can tell you is there's still a long ways to go, and according to multiple lawmakers, nobody's going to be happy once this bill finally passes. So, I don't know what's going to be in it, but what I can tell you is it's not even going to be close to what Democrats previously wanted. So we'll see. Let's address some of the Social Security issues as well. Because this is what I've been hearing, is that many Americans are on Social Security are potentially facing major changes. They are potentially going to lose benefits while inflation is going up. Everything's going up. Now, everybody on Social Security is going to get a 5.9% cost of living adjustment. This is going to happen this next month. But by receiving this 5.9 cost of living adjustment, this is also impacting things like Medicare premiums. It's impacting rental assistance, housing. It's also taking a cut out of many recipients' SNAP benefits for nutrition assistance. Now, I want to read you what two people said in the comments just the other day. So one, and I thought these were very telling of what's happening right now. One person named Brian Rainey, he says, "My neighbor got a letter from Social Security that her Social Security was increasing by $46. Then she got a letter about food stamps being lowered by $27 because of it. Then she got a letter that the housing authority was increasing her amount of rent by $30 because of it. So, the Social Security increase just cost her $11 a month. It hurt her. Didn't help her." He's not the only one. Here's another one. This one's from Dennis Burris. He says, "I'm on Social Security disability. My check went up starting in January, $52. They lowered my SNAP benefits by $25. I have a mortgage on a mobile home. They raised our lot rent by $25. Gas for my car is up to $3.37 a gallon. Natural gas and electric and water have all increased. Definitely would like to see them do something to help. I know there are people who are having a harder time than I am, so they got to get their act together, hopefully. Just to give you an idea. He's saying that his SNAP benefits lowered, his lot rent went up $25, so that's $50, and he just got a increase from from Social Security Disability by $52. So he's really ahead by $2, yet gas prices have increased as well, so technically he's actually down. But that's the issue. And this is what I said the other day. Too many people are being negatively impacted by this 5.9% cost of living adjustment simply because it's increasing so much that premiums, rental assistance, SNAP benefits, all these things are eating into that adjustment. And that's definitely hurting a lot of people. So we'll see what happens there, but there are lawmakers that are trying to do something for Social Security beneficiaries. So we'll see. Let's talk about, is there a way we can cap inflation? Well, according to Senator Roy Blunt, he says putting a cap on families in need is something that should have been done a long time ago, and it's something that can be done to cap inflation. He says 6.8% is more than we can take, and says that it is bigger than we can handle right now. He also stated that the administration has made multiple mistakes by adding massive spending bills into their agenda as a means of combating rising inflation. And he stated, and I quote, "Putting a cap on families in need is what we can do, should do, and would do in the country, and could do in a bipartisan way." So he's already saying, we can provide for families in need, but there has to be a cap. We can do this in a bipartisan way. And he went on to say, and I quote, "Families are suffering whether the administration, Democrats in the Congress want to admit that or not. This is not a transitory problem. It's a real problem, and this is no time to make that problem worse." So again, we're going to see what happens. But there are people on both sides, both Republicans and Democrats, that are saying that this Build Back Better Act is only going to make problems worse, not better. So we'll see what happens there. Let's address the soft lockdowns. Many countries are turning towards additional restrictions, even though, even for people that are vaccinated, wear a mask, right, social distance, they are still being restricted in multiple ways. Nobody is really calling this a lockdown. Well, outside of like China and some other countries, most other countries are calling these heightened restrictions. That's pretty much the words that they're using. But the truth is that these are soft lockdowns. When a person can't leave their house without a specific mask, like an N95 mask, when that same person must have a vaccine in order to enter a building, restaurant, club, and now we're being asked to self-isolate, even after 7 days of testing, after testing positive without symptoms. You're asymptomatic. This is a soft lockdown. Now, I don't know about you, but many Americans are tired of this pandemic, and they just want to get back to their normal lives. So many are not following the guidelines and rules set out by the CDC simply because they say that even some officials in the CDC are not following their guidance. Many health experts have said this in the past, that right now the constant rule changes are what's making it very difficult for the American people to follow. Then on top of this, again, when we see lawmakers or officials attending large gatherings without masks, governors have done this in the past, then it makes us wonder why we're following a separate set of rules. Let me ask you this. Are you tired of listening to the constant rule changes just to see that the people setting the rules are not actually following them? Let me know down in the comment section below. But let's get into some of what Dr. Anthony Fauci had to say regarding travel restrictions. Dr. Anthony Fauci says that domestic travel vaccinations should be considered. He's not saying they will be, he's saying they should be. He says this would actually incentivize people to go and get vaccinated, and he believes domestic flights would be something that many would consider getting vaccinated for. But let me know down in the comment section below, if you have been against vaccines, would you get the vaccine if it was required to get on a domestic flight? Let me know. He also stated that the CDC is trying to determine if it is feasible to shorten the isolation period for essential workers, not just those in the healthcare field. Over the past week, what we've seen, or actually this past weekend, the CDC stated that healthcare workers did not have to isolate for 10 days. They can isolate for 7 if they test negative on day 6. But here's what you need to understand. That's just for people in the healthcare field. Essential workers, like we saw over this weekend, where more than 2,800 flights were canceled due to essential workers at the airports having COVID and needing to self-isolate for 10 days. What you need to keep in mind is if they only had to self-isolate for 7 days, many would have been able to come back and there wouldn't have been so many flights canceled. So this is why the CDC is going to look into this, because they say this is not just going to impact flights, it's going to impact things like pharmacies, grocery stores, right, and travel. All these things are going to be impacted, especially over the next week or two as we see COVID cases really ramp up. So that's what we know at this time, but as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on here and share all the latest news and updates. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.